spring, 1978. Two young filmmakers, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, began shooting a film about a babysitter being stalked by evil incarnate. Shot in 20 days, on a budget of just over $300,000, the film went on to make over $50 million, and until recently was the highest-grossing independent movie ever. It's influenced a generation of filmmakers and film-goers, and its title has become synonymous with movie horror, Halloween. Today, Deborah Hill is a player, one of the busiest producers in LA, but she remembers Halloween.
What I like about horror films is the fact that they really get you to react. For me, the films were a way to kind of leap from reality into some sort of great fantasy.
We're all afraid of the same things. We're all born afraid of death, of loss of loved ones, loss of abandonment from our parents, pain, injury. All of it is the same. We're all afraid of the same things, which makes a movie that deals in our fears universal.
One of my first jobs was a script supervisor working on a movie called Goodbye, Norma Jean. And then I met John Carpenter when he directed Assault on Precinct 13. And I was his script supervisor and assistant editor. And then we decided to collaborate on Halloween. Irwin Yablans actually came up with the idea of setting it in Halloween. And we were searching for a story, you know, what could the story be? And because we were very limited, in fact, they wanted babysitters. So, and I'd been a babysitter, and I had all these great stories. But when he called and came up with the brilliant idea of using the themes of Halloween to tell our story, it was like a gold mine.
I thought, what if we made a film in one night? We could probably do it real cheap because we'd use one set. We'd do it all in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And then I thought about the most horrific night of the year, Halloween. No one had ever made a movie about Halloween. And I picked up the telephone and called John Carpenter, who was in my mind at the time because of Assault on Precinct 13. And I said, what do you think of the title Halloween? Expecting him to perhaps balk. He got it right away. And he told me right off the bat that he could make the picture for 4 weeks for $300,000. I said, John, let me see what I can do.
I wasn't in this horror films until John Carpenter came to me with this film. And he said, I have a film and low budget, and he said $300,000. I said, $300,000? He said, well, yeah. I said, what's the stories about? He said, it's about a babysitter to be killed by the boogeyman. The word babysitter clicked with me because every kid in America knows what a babysitter is.
We went to a list of scares. You know, like imagine if, you know, you're in bed with your boyfriend and he goes down to get some water or Coke or something and comes back with a sheet trying to pretend he's a ghost, but it's not him. It's all these kinds of things that we wrote down, all these scares, and then we decided to weave the scares into the story.
Basically, it was a complete 50-50 collaboration.
I wrote the first draft, laying in the kids, the teenagers, the teenage talk, the girl talk amongst each other. And John came back with a pass for the Sam Loomis character, which is played by Donald Pleasance. So all the stuff about evil and everything is really John's.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
The opening shot of the picture took an entire day to film. It's actually 2 shots. We took it from Touch of Evil, one of our favorite Orson Welles films. We set up so that we would start in the front of the house and we would actually go all the way through, creep in the window, see them kissing, go through the back of the house, open up the drawer, pick out the knife, and by the way, those are my hands. And then we would go in through the living room and up the steps and into the bedroom. And while we were up there shooting that scene, downstairs, all the electricians and grips were running around crazy trying to reset the lights for when we turned around and came back through the house.
The fact that we had a new tool at the time to kind of help us with that, the Steadicam. It was pretty ambitious because most of the time on low-budget shows you didn't really spend a lot of time with the look.
Every town has a haunted house, and in Haddonfield, it belongs to the Myers family.
We slept up there. Anybody who's a fan of the film remembers Nancy Loomis.
Wow.
I'd like to tell you that a lot of mysterious, weird things happened or that we had this big passionate love scene, but in fact, as soon as everybody was gone and we got up there, we just sort of looked at each other and we're so tired. We just conked out. The end.
Not quite. The Halloween crew used other locations in and around Pasadena.
All right, what you're looking at is the original Halloween street, and I felt like this had the look we needed. Overhanging trees, could be anywhere, and yet on film they don't look like rich people live here, they just like Beaver Cleaver lives here.
The filmmakers also used the stately homes of West Hollywood.
Hi, I'm Brian Andrews, Tommy Doyle from the Halloween. Over there was Lindsay's house. That was the house where I first saw the boogeyman, and I gotta tell you, that really scared me. Over here, we have the Doyle house. I'd like to apologize to everyone for taking so long to get to the door and leaving poor Jamie Lee Curtis stranded out there, possibly in fear for her life.
A lot of Halloween's success was due to the creative partnership between its director and cinematographer.
Get upstairs. What is it? Go upstairs, get Lindsay, lock the bedroom door. Do as I say! Hurry!
Dean and I sat down and watched Chinatown. There is a real creepy feeling to Chinatown in the way it's shot. It's beautiful, it's sunlit, it's California, but on the other hand, there's something really off about it. And so we talked about this being a small town that's something strange here. He did a whole lot of blue backlight, okay, creepy lighting, and it was really effective. It became a kind of cliche after he used it.
Jamie Lee has been chased in the house and she's hiding in the corner, and the shape, as we called him, gradually sort of materializes in the shadows behind her. Using a light on a dimmer, I brought it up so that it just barely began to expose the white face of the shape, the killer, hiding in the background there.
I always remembered John Carpenter and Deborah Hill seemed always, very preoccupied with getting everything perfect. They seemed like the ultimate, incredible, down-home filmmakers because they had hands on everything, and John Carpenter just seemed like a genius to me because he really knew so much about what he wanted from every single second of the film.
Veteran actor Donald Pleasance came in for 5 shooting days to portray the shape's nemesis, Dr. Sam Loomis.
Donald Pleasance was just an amazing actor. He's the kind of guy who just knew the character. We only had 5 days with him. He was just really great. He gave 150%. And he was like the elder on the set. Those days, kids making movies was rare. And so I think he was just astonished at our ages and the excitement and the freshness that we brought to the process.
John and Deborah called me one day and said to me that they were all set on offering Christopher Lee the part of Dr. Loomis. I said, what do you want to do, make another Hammer movie?
Christopher Lee turned us down, Peter Cushing turned us down, and Donald agreed to my shock. And we sat down to have lunch, and he says, I don't understand this script. I don't like this script. I don't know who my character is. The only reason I'm doing this is because my daughter thought your first movie was cool. So tell me why I'm doing this. I'm scared to death. Oh, my God. And I only realized later when we became friends that what Donald likes to do is he wants to find out how much you want to do the movie. He wants to find out how passionate you are as the director. And so that's his little trick. Donald, his action is he runs in, he shoots the shape, blows him out of a window. On the set, I was shooting his reaction. So he says, I can play this, what do you want me to do? I can play this 2 ways. I can play this, oh my God, he's gone, or I knew this would happen. I thought, boy, that's interesting. I don't know. Can you do it both ways for me? And clearly he knew what he should have done. He knew how he should have played it ahead of time, which was I knew this would happen. Because, oh my God, he's gone was way too much. But I realized that Donald actually gave me the choice, you see. He left the decision in my hands, which is, the mark of a great actor.
While Halloween was Pleasance's 108th film or TV appearance, it was his co-star's first movie role.
I remember that